Hi everyone, welcome to UCTV Alive for Kids. We have a really important guest here today. We're joined by Her Excellency the Honourable Barbara Baker, Governor of Tasmania. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us on UCTV Alive for Kids.
Thanks very much for having me, Tess. I'm very pleased to be part of this today.
It's very, very exciting. We're both getting a bit used to talking to the camera. There's a little bit of a delay at both ends. So we're going to show some videos today. You might see Oscar and Nala in the background, who are two of Her Excellency's pets. But before we get started and give you a bit of a tour of Government House and let Her Excellency talk to us about what the role of the Governor is in our state and what they do, I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping quickly. So UCTV runs once a month. We record it. You might have noticed that when you signed in. So for that reason, your camera and microphone are disabled. And I'd really love to acknowledge country as well before we begin. It's wonderful to be able to continue a tradition of storytelling in Tasmania. But Aboriginal Tasmanians are our first storytellers, and this is their land. And I think it's really great to think about where you are and know what land you're on. So please, let's all pay our respects to our elders past, present and emerging. But I think we're ready to get started now that the housekeeping has been done. Your Excellency, would you be able to introduce yourself, please, and just tell us a little bit about where you're zooming in from today?
Yes, my name is Barbara Baker. I'm the Governor of Tasmania. I live here. I'm actually at Government House in Hobart, in the capital city of Tasmania, and I live at Government House in an apartment upstairs, because it's a very, very big house. You can see from the photo in the background, we don't occupy the whole house. We just live upstairs in an apartment. I live at Government House with my husband, Professor Don Chalmers, and as mentioned by Tess, our two dogs, who are Border Collies, Oscar and Nala. And I have been in this position since June 2021. So it's a 5-year term, so I have 2 and a bit more years to go.
Fantastic. And Oscar and Nala are just sitting at your feet, aren't they, Your Excellency?
They've actually moved. They're behind me now, but you may hear them, and maybe later I can get them to stand up for you, for the children.
That would be great. But anyone watching from the classroom or at home, keep an eye out for a little fluffy tail in the background. And maybe you might hear some panting as well while they're playing. But I'm sure you're all really keen to see inside Government House. Maybe some of you have even been there before with your school. So we've made a video today to play to show you what it's like. We made this earlier in the year during a University of Tasmania school holiday program. And you'll see some artworks at the end. They were created by students from East Devonport Primary, East Tamar Primary, Bothwell District School and Rokeby Primary students. So it's part of a new art project at Government House, which you'll hear about a little bit more later too, because Her Excellency has been receiving lots of beautiful artworks from schools around Tasmania based on photographs that her team have been sending out to schools. And she'd really love for you all to take part in that. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and play this video. So hold on one second while I just do a screen share, please.
University of Tasmania holiday program. Could you please stand for the Governor and Professor Chalmers and 2 very special companions with them? Here we are. Right there. Here we go, John. If you want to come to this side, John.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Government House. So this is the place where
the Governor undertakes the official work of the Office of the Governor. This is also where the Governor's family and pets live. So we live up the other end of the house, and so it's a beautiful place to live. Because I don't know whether you've seen the gardens yet, but the gardens are beautiful, so the dogs love the gardens. So I don't know whether you know much about me, but I'm the 29th Governor of Tasmania and the second female Governor. And I was appointed, so I've got 3 years, so my term is 5 years, and I've been Governor for 2 years, so I've got another 3 years to go. So I was appointed by our late Queen Elizabeth II on the recommendation of our state Premier. So Tasmania is one state of the Commonwealth, and it has its own constitution and its own governor. And the governor is completely independent of politics, and so I don't vote in elections, for example. And this is important because my main role is to represent all Tasmanians, no matter what party they are members of or support. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, in fact, just one little thing, Your Excellency. Last month, the Governor and Professor Chalmers went to England to see the new King get his crown put on. And then they had a special visit with him. And the Governor was there, not just for the Governor, but for everyone who lives in Tasmania. That's what we mean by she represents everyone.
Yes, and we were very, very lucky to go to London. Does everyone know where London is? So we flew to London, and we were lucky enough to meet the King, just my husband and I. We were in a room with the King, and he was very, very nice to us, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And we talked about Tasmania and all the things that we're doing here. So that was a wonderful experience.
Now, who's got some questions? Hands up. Yes.
Oh. This is Oscar with a K, and this is Nala.
So anyway,
Yeah. Oscar and Nala.
They love living here. Now, Your Excellency, so we're going to have refreshments in the drawing room.
Yes.
Do you think maybe we should get the children to go and enjoy something first and then maybe look at the paintings?
Is that an idea? Is that what you want? First?
Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you loved that video. We had a lot of fun making it during that school visit over the school holidays. Before we have a break for questions and answers, is there anything, Your Excellency, that you would like to tell the schools watching about the art project that was featured at the end of the video?
Yes, the art project's a wonderful opportunity for children to engage with Government House, and it's an educational and artistic activity whereby Government House sends to the schools the equipment such as the crayons, paints, the board plus an image of Government House, and which the children can choose to paint or draw or use whatever medium they would like. And once they've done that, they send the artwork back to Government House, and we have the artworks framed and exhibited. So as you saw on the video, there were quite a few artworks exhibited. That was, I think that was earlier this year. But the project started last year, and we had quite a few schools participate, and I think we have 6 schools, and I think this year we've got 4 schools participating. So we're very, very keen for any school who wants to participate in the project to contact us at Government House and let us know. And in conjunction with the Peter Underwood Centre, we will arrange to have the equipment sent to you, and together with the images of Government House. And it gives the children an opportunity, if they can, to come to Government House for a school visit and to see or to hear about my role, and also to see the lovely house and the grounds of Government House. So it has several aims, and it's been a wonderful project so far. So we'd really like as many children as possible to participate in the project.
Fantastic. We've been so impressed by all the artworks that we've seen when we've been over to Government House. And I believe that Bowen Road Primary, there's a few classrooms watching today, and they're also taking part in the art project. So any school around Tasmania can take part. You just need to email admin@govhouse.tas.gov.au. I know it's sometimes a bit tricky to write down an email address really fast when you're hearing it over the screen like this, but you could also reach out to the Peter Underwood Centre, or you could probably even contact the Government House Tasmania Facebook page. So feel free to reach out if you're interested in taking part in the art project. Now we're going to have a bit of a break for questions. So everyone that's watched the webinar before knows that around this time I pause my video and mute myself, and I'll play a little video with a countdown of 3 minutes, and you've got that 3 minutes to think of some questions to ask Her Excellency. You can write that in the Q&A function. You can ask your teacher to put something in. If you're at home, you might have control of the laptop and be able to put in something yourself. No one else can see the questions being submitted, just Her Excellency and myself. And if you let us know the name of your school and a first name, we can give you a shout out. But I'm going to do that now. I'm going to share that video. So I'm going to do the share screen again. I'll see you in 3 minutes. Hi, everyone. We're back. There's a lot of questions that have come through. I'm just going to make sure that I've stopped sharing the video. Yep, that's stopped. And Her Excellency is back now as well. Thank you for all the fantastic questions. There's so many there. There's about just under 20. I'm going to try to read them all out in chronological order. So from the first ones that came through to the last, but feel free to keep sending them through. Are you ready, Your Excellency, to answer some of the questions?
Yes, hopefully I can.
I'm sure you will be able to. Now, the first question, it's just got the name of a student and a school. I think that might be in relation to a follow-up question that's been sent through. So Dhruv from Howrah Primary School asks, what are the most important roles in Government House?
As Governor, I have 3 main parts of my role, which are constitutional, ceremonial and community. The constitutional role involves legal business. So, for example, I preside over what is called the Executive Council, which is the Premier and his ministers. And at that is a regular meeting on a fortnightly basis. So that's a very important role because I sign off on regulations, which is delegated legislation or laws, and I also sign off on important appointments, such as appointments of judges and magistrates. And I also am the person who signs a bill into law. So a bill goes before both houses of Parliament, the House of Assembly and the Legislative Council, and once it's been passed through both houses, it then comes to me to sign that bill, so it then becomes an Act of Parliament and is an enforceable law. So I think those the constitutional roles are important. I also have what are called reserved powers, which means that I do have discretion to make rulings in respect of the workability of Parliament. So they're very important roles, but the other roles are also important. The ceremonial role involves investitures or handing out awards to people who have done really well in the community, and also attending various events such as Anzac Day or Remembrance Day, and representing all the people of Tasmania. And then the community engagement role, which actually takes up most of my time, is also very important because I do a lot of work in the community and support lots of community organisations. And part of my community role is actually talking to school students such as yourselves and being involved with the Peter Underwood Centre. So it's a very busy part of my role. So I hope that it's probably a long-winded answer, but good question.
Yeah, definitely a good question, and it's good to get that understanding of the different roles that you serve, Your Excellency, in the community. Now, there's lots of questions here, and we don't have much time. I might have to combine some of them. There's a few questions about Oscar and Nala. So, and
What?
sorry, yeah, as you would expect, I think they're quite popular.
Yes, so it's very popular people, very popular animals up here.
Definitely. So,
yes, if you could question, and I'll actually get them in the screen if you like.
Oh, amazing. So Oliver at Latrobe Primary School has asked, do your dogs travel everywhere with you? And while you're getting Oscar and Nala just to stand next to you, I'll read out the other questions we had about Oscar and Nala. So
Yes.
Lisa asked, and she's zooming in from the beautiful Whitsundays. She asked, are your Border Collie dogs crossed with any other breed? So 2 questions. Are the Border Collies crossed with any other breeds? And do the dogs travel everywhere with you?
As far as my official duties are concerned, no, unfortunately they can't travel with me because I go in what's called the vice-regal vehicle, and so I'm not allowed to take dogs in the car, unfortunately. But when we're not on official duties, they do come everywhere with my husband and I because they're part of our family. We love them very much. As far as, no, they're not, they're actually rescue dogs. So I don't know if they're 100% Border Collies, but Nala's got quite short legs, so I don't think she's 100%. But so I don't know. I don't think she's actually bred with any other breed. I think she's a Border Collie. And Oscar is what's called a blue merle, but it is a type of Border Collie. But he's got. I wish they'd stand up for you, but no, I don't think he's bred with any other dog.
Mountain Heights School in Queenstown also would like to know how old are Oscar and Nala?
We think they're about 10. We inherited them from my daughter, who she rescued them in Queensland actually, so they've travelled a long way. They've come from Townsville to Hobart, and we inherited them about 4 years ago when she had children, so she couldn't manage with them because they need lots of exercise. Yeah. So we think they're about 10.
Yeah, great. Mia from Latrobe Primary School asks, what are your hobbies?
Well, I really like reading fiction, and I like Nordic noir crime series, so I like watching those. I like playing lawn tennis, and of course walking with the dogs is a favourite activity. Before I moved to Government House and became extremely busy, even at weekends, we have lots of events on. I don't have much time really to do gardening, but I used to do gardening quite a bit at my home. Yeah. So that will be a hobby I'll take up again when I finish my role here.
Lovely. I'm going to jump ahead to a question from a few questions from St. Anthony's, because I haven't read out any of those yet. So there's lots of questions. Thanks so much, St. Anthony's, for tuning in and sending through so many great questions. Asha asks, how many rooms are at Government House? Kingston asks, how many rooms are there? Addie asks, how many people live there? Mr. Bob asks, can you explain the role of governor? I think that one's we've sort of answered. And Tara asks, what is your favorite part of your role? So room numbers, how many
Room
people?
number?
Yep.
Yes. So there's 71 rooms here at Government House. And the house was completed, the building was completed in 1857. So it's a very old house, and as you've seen in the video, it's very beautiful. But yeah, 71 rooms. So it's very, very big. Only 2 people live here, my husband and I, together with our pets.
Yeah.
The rest of the staff, actually some of the staff live on the estate, because on the estate, which is around 17 hectares, there are cottages and several houses. So the official secretary, who is basically the employer of the Government House staff, he actually lives in a house on the estate, and several of the employees live in the cottages. But in the actual house itself, there's only my husband and I.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yes. Sorry, next question. The favourite part? I think the favourite part of my role is actually going out to the Tasmanian community and meeting lots of people and hearing their stories and listening to the sort of activities they're undertaking, whether it be business, education, or sport or art. I also really like my visits to schools. I really like talking to children. So, in fact, I think Kempton Primary are online, and I had a lovely visit to Kempton Primary on Friday. So thank you very much, students, for hosting me there. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, and the questions that I've been reading out from Lisa, that Lisa is one of the teachers at Kempton Primary School. So thank you for sending those questions in, Kempton. There's a couple of questions about the hardest decisions you've ever had to make as governor, or the hardest thing about being governor. That was from Hunter at Latrobe Primary School and from Ethan at Howrah Primary School. Very
good question. I think anything to do with the constitutional role would be the most difficult. I've had to exercise what is called a reserve power, where I have a discretion, because normally I don't have a discretion. I'm required to act on the advice of the ministers, but with a reserve power, I do have a discretion. So it is hard. You have to make sure you exercise that correctly. And I've been asked to prorogue Parliament on 2 occasions. Proroguing means to delay Parliament. It happened when there was resignation of ministers, and it meant that there'd have to be a count back in the electorate to see who'd be the next member. But fortunately, it was only a short period of time, so it could have been a lot harder decision, but it's still a hard decision. You have to make sure that it's the right decision. There was no feedback to say that people are upset about that. So I think they were both right on both occasions.
Yeah, fantastic. The time has just flown past, Your Excellency, and there's still lots of questions here. There's about 15 that we haven't had a chance to get to, but we do have time to answer one more. So I'm just having a little bit of a scroll here to see if there's someone I've missed and I haven't read anything out, or if there's one that you might particularly be interested in. There was a good question. They're all really good questions, but there was a question about whether you've ever met the Queen before, Your Excellency.
Question. So with the governor role, what normally happens is within the first 6 months of appointment, an audience is granted to the governor. Because COVID was just finishing when I was appointed, and the Queen was not taking appointments, I didn't actually get an appointment until earlier this year. But of course, Her Majesty passed away, so I didn't have that appointment. But I had the privilege and great enjoyment of going to the coronation of King Charles III, and I also had an audience with King Charles about a week after the coronation. So I have met him, but no, unfortunately I didn't meet the Queen.
So it must have been exciting going and visiting Buckingham Palace.
Oh, it was very exciting to go inside. I went to a reception the night before the coronation, and of course the coronation was at Westminster Abbey, which was beautiful. And of course my audience with the King was again at Buckingham Palace, so it was lovely to be there. It's a beautiful building.
Fantastic. That we've hit 2:30. I would love to read out all the questions, but we might not have time. I know you're very, very busy, Your Excellency, and schools as well are busy themselves and have got to finish things up for the day and get to school buses. So I'd really love to say thank you so much, Your Excellency, for coming on UCTV Alive for Kids. You've been a fantastic guest today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish up?
Oh, no, thank you very much for having me, Tess, and thank you so much for all the students who have participated today. And the questions are terrific. I just would say keep studying hard and work hard, because education is very important. And the fact that you've actually joined this shows that you are really interested in learning. So well done. And I hope to see some of you in the next few years. Thank you, Tess.
No problem. Thank you so much for everyone watching, and thanks for all the teachers and homeschool parents as well that have signed up for today. We'll see you next month for another episode of UCTV. See you later, everyone. Bye.